Hello, welcome back to Learn Economia. In this video, we are going to look at fiscal and monetary policy multipliers. Starting with the monetary policy multiplier, many monetary policy decisions, we know that it depends upon the monetary policy multiplier. So it's important to know what monetary policy multiplier is. So we have to understand that how big an effect of monetary policy has caused an output and inflation, or how big is the effect of monetary policy on the economy. So this is what is looked at by the monetary policy multiplier. Somewhat surprisingly, there have been many models which are used for monetary policy analysis which incorporate very different monetary policy multipliers, both in terms of timing of the effects of monetary policy as well as the size of these effects. Having understood the monetary policy multiplier, the meaning of the monetary policy multiplier, let's go to the fiscal policy multipliers. When we come to the arena of economics, the fiscal policy multiplier, this is the ratio of change in the national income which arises as a result of the change in the government spending. We can see that the exogenous spending multiplier is a ratio of change in the national income arising out of autonomous change in the spending of the government. When this multiplier exceeds 1, we can see that the enhanced effect on national income may be called as a multiplier effect. The mechanism that could give rise to multiplier effect is that an initial incremental amount of spending that can lead to increased income and hence increased consumption spending, increase income further and hence further would increase consumption, and this tendency would go on. This would result in an overall increase in the national income which is greater than the initial incremental amount of spending. You could also see that an initial change in the aggregate demand may cause a change in the aggregate output, which is a multiple of the initial change. So this is what the multiplier effect is all about. I have already done a video on the multiplier effect which was put forward by Keynes, which is the investment multiplier effect. We have to understand that though it was Richard Kahn who introduced the concept of multiplier into the arena of economics by going for the employment multiplier, it was John Maynard Keynes who popularized the term by going for the introduction of the concept investment multiplier. So I have already done a video on the investment multiplier. You can go through that video. I'll be providing the link of the same in the description box. There have been many schools of economic thought which rejected or downplayed the importance of multiplier effects, especially when it comes to the long run analysis. The multiplier effect has been used as an argument for efficacy of government spending or taxation relief to stimulate aggregate demand. In many cases, we could see that multiplier values less than 1 have been empirically measured, which suggests that certain types of government spending crowd out private investment or consumer spending that could have otherwise taken place. I have already explained what this crowding out effect means. If you can watch the video of the difference between crowding in and crowding out, I'll be providing the link of the same in the description box. So this kind of crowding out can occur. If there is crowding out, this can occur because the initial increase in spending may cause an increase in the interest rate or price level, and which will later on reduce the investment. Coming to the application of fiscal multipliers, we could see that the multiplier effect is exploited by government attempting to use fiscal stimulus policies in order to increase the general level of economic activity. This can be done in a period of recession or economic uncertainty or depression when the unemployment of labor is very high and other resources in the economy would become underutilized. Increased spending by government would increase the rate of aggregate demand, and thus it would increase economic activity. It would increase consumption, investment, aggregate demand, and this would in turn increase income level in the economy, and which would act as a virtuous cycle. The idea is that the total increase in production as well as income by all the parties throughout the economy would be greater than the original increment which is made by the government in the form of initial level of spending, as additional resources can be drawn into the circular flow of money spending and business activity through the economy. The existence of the idle capacity as well as involuntary unemployment of labor in the economy could be represented as an output gap, which is the difference between the actual GDP and the potential GDP. And if there is any policy with respect to fiscal stimulus, this could aim at introducing sufficient additional spending so as to increase the aggregate demand, which is amplified by multiplier to speed the mechanism of closing of the output gap. Any additional spending by the government must be financed by drawing down reserves, by additional taxes, or by issuing additional government debt instruments. Increased taxes exactly match to increased spending. This might seem designed to draw out the circulating flow of economy and amount of income in taxes, which is equal to the amount being injected by additional government purchases. If it if the government is going for borrowing, then we could see that the finance in order to finance this additional government purchases, it is important to design to draw out of the circulating flow an amount which is equal to the additional government purchases, which is perhaps by crowding out the private borrowing for investment spending. In the history of economic thought, the notion that any increase in government spending necessarily crowds out an equal amount of private spending or investment through taxation or borrowing, and thus it is thought that it has got no net impact on economic activity. This is a treasury view, which is regarded as generally fallacious. The argument that the choice of taxes or borrowing to finance government spending must be equivalent that the taxpayers observe borrowing and save in anticipation of taxes to repay borrowing. This is known as the Ricardian equivalence, and this is sometimes cited as a rationale for believing that the fiscal stimulus policy would be made futile by reactions of rational consumers and business, reducing their spending or investing in exact proportion to increase in public spending. This is a scenario which is similar to that we could envision in the treasury view. Whether we are going for an incremental increase to government spending, whether this should have some kind of multiplier effect is thought to depend upon the circumstances which the economy is facing. First of all, particularly on the extent to which unemployment of resources may be high, so that the additional demand represented by government purchases may be realized by additional production as well as higher utilization of resources. This is without bidding up prices. And secondly, you could see that by the state of the financial as well as credit market, when you could see that the demand for money and the money instruments may welcome additional government debt as lower securities, but this may regard investment in private production capacity or capital formation as too risky, which given a low level of general business activity. So here expectations regarding the prospects that you are taking into consideration would come into play here. When the unemployment of resources in the economy is high and cash is being hoarded in the financial as well as credit system, the fiscal multiplier would be either 1 or it would be greater than 1. Even a balanced fiscal stimulus, that is additional public purchase, fully financed by the equivalent increase in taxation without any additional public borrowing. This may have a multiplier effect which is greater than 1, as an increase in the output and business activity would reduce persistent unemployment and anxiety driving hoarding, with resulted increase in private consumption as well as investment. Government borrowing to finance additional public purchases in circumstances in which cash is being hoarded in financial as well as credit system will not displace private investment spending. An additional supply of low-risk government securities may be simply provided. This may simply provide vehicles for continued hoarding as short-term government securities, and this is regarded as closely equivalent to cash. In these kind of circumstances, we could see that the policy to increase aggregate demand and total economic activity or business activity by means of fiscal measures may treat additional purchases as well as reduction in taxes as interchangeable, which is near equivalence with changes in the net difference between spending as well as taxation identified as a deficit finance fiscal stimulus. The net fiscal stimulus may be increased and this could be increased by raising spending which is above the level of tax revenues, reducing taxes below the level of government spending, and you could see that any combination of these two would result in government taxing which is less than its spending. The extent of multiplier effect in increase in domestic business activity is dependent upon marginal propensity to consume as well as marginal propensity to import. Some public purchases or tax reductions could be identified as having larger or more immediate effects on business activity, especially when it comes to short run. For example, it could be argued that tax cut or spending aimed at lowest income households whose spending is most constrained by income will have a higher multiplier because such households will spend a larger fraction of any addition to income faster. How potent a fiscal stimulus is in stimulating expansion of economic activity may depend upon how accommodating the monetary authority is. That is, how accommodating the central bank of the economy is. Many economists subscribe to a consensus view in which monetary policy is preferred as a means of regulating business cycle as well as fiscal policy is regarded as an effective tool only in circumstances in which monetary policies has become ineffective. This is because policy interest rates are approaching zero lower bound or a liquidity trap has developed in which a financial system is hoarding money and failing to finance risky investment in capital formation as well as increase output. If monetary policy is considered to be effective, monetary policy would dominate fiscal policy, making the latter ineffective. So actually everything will depend upon the situation of the economy, whether the economy is going through a phase of inflation or whether the economy is going through a phase of depression or recession or whatever it may be. And this is what determines the effectiveness of both the fiscal as well as monetary policy. In some scenarios, we could see that fiscal policy is more effective than the monetary policy, and in some other scenarios, we could see the reverse. Additional public borrowing and spending would tend to increase the interest rate because the monetary authority would increase interest rate in response to additional public spending as well as borrowing. This is considered to be an effort to contain the effects on the level of public activity in order to prevent overheating in the demand for resources and inflation. If you take an example, when the long-run benefits of public investment in public goods and infrastructure should be considered in constructing a quantified estimate of multiplier, that is, whether the multiplier should in effect incorporate or represent the cost-benefit analysis is an area of conceptual confusion and controversy. In a case in which there appears to be substantial persistent unemployment, it can be argued that opportunity costs for public spending are reduced. This is reduced to the extent that the multiplier exceeds 1. Whether that would or should justify otherwise wasteful government spending is controversial. On the other hand, you could see that whether the supposed wastefulness of government spending justifies reducing multiplier estimates that reflect only GDP effects to smaller estimate reflecting welfare effects, remaining a matter of political controversies till now. Still, it's considered to be a matter of political controversy, and it is sometimes argued that if money is borrowed, it must eventually be paid back with interest. Such as long-term effect on the economy would depend upon the trade-off between the immediate increase to GDP and long-term cost of servicing the resulting government debt. This is considered to be a fallacy, insofar as marketable economic assets or marketable government debts are used by the central bank as an instrument for monetary policy and by the financial system as an instrument for hedging risk and portfolio management. The debt may never be paid back, and even if they are paid back, it will be purely in nominal terms. The central bank is not committed to any future course of policy by issuing public debt, and in any case there would be never a trade-off in which it would make a sense to reduce a future resource employment to pay back a debt. The capacity to service debt could only be enhanced by a future policy of full employment of natural resources. When I say natural resources, actually I mean not only the natural resources but also the man-made resources. It will take into consideration all the natural resources. The concept of economic multiplier on a macroeconomic scale can be extended to any economic region. For example, building a new factory may lead to a new employment for locals. It can create different and diverse economic opportunities in terms of creation of new employment opportunities for local people, which may have a knock-on economic effects for the city as well as the region. So that's all. I welcome you to my Telegram group and Telegram channel. You are free to discuss your doubts there, and also like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you.